The vast emptiness of space stretched out like a dark canvas, punctuated by distant starlight. The cracked scavenger ship drifted slowly, its hull scarred from countless missions across forgotten sectors of the Andromeda region. Hyun Kim stood at the primary observation deck, her eyes fixed on the scanning displays that flickered with unexpected readings. Something was different today. The sensors picked up an anomaly that didn't match any known stellar phenomenon. At first, it looked like ordinary space debris, a collection of metallic fragments suspended in the cosmic void. But as the ship drew closer, the fragments began to take shape. The ship's crew grew quiet. Alien scavengers were used to finding interesting salvage, but this was something else entirely. Massive structures emerged from the darkness, each one perfectly preserved as if time had simply stopped around them. No rust, no damage, no signs of decay. Hyun's fingers danced across the holographic interface, zooming in and enhancing the images. The structures were unmistakably artificial, geometric, precise with clean lines that suggested incredible engineering. They were ships, ancient ships, but not like anything the cracks had ever encountered before. Run a full spectral analysis, she commanded to the ship's artificial intelligence. The computer hummed, processing data at lightning speed. Minutes felt like hours as the crew waited, their excitement growing with each passing moment. The first preliminary results were shocking. The metal compositions defied current understanding. Quantum-locked molecular structures that showed no signs of degradation. Energy signatures that seemed to pulse with a strange, dormant life. These weren't just old ships. They were something entirely different. Junior technicians whispered among themselves. Some spoke of legendary lost civilizations. Others suggested these might be remnants of a mythical race that had disappeared centuries ago. But Hyun knew better. There was something deliberate about these vessels, something that suggested they were waiting. As the scavenger ship inched closer, more details became visible. The ships were massive, each one potentially larger than entire crack cities. Their design was both elegant and functional, with smooth curves that seemed to defy traditional spacecraft engineering. No visible weapon ports, no obvious propulsion systems, just pure calculated design. The lead scientist's heart raced. She had explored hundreds of spatial anomalies, cataloged countless abandoned structures, but this was different. These ships felt like they were watching back, like they were aware of the approaching vessel. Temperature readings began to fluctuate. Subtle energy patterns started to emerge from the dormant fleet. It was almost as if the ships were responding to their presence, awakening from a deep, calculated sleep. Maintain distance, Hyun instructed the navigation team. Do not approach closer than 500 kilometers. Her instincts screamed a warning. These weren't just abandoned ships, they were something more, a preservation, a message, a warning. The cracked scavenger ship's computer began generating complex mathematical models, trying to understand the strange energy signatures. Each attempt revealed more questions than answers. The ships seemed to exist in multiple quantum states, simultaneously, present, yet not fully present. Crew members started to feel uneasy. Some reported strange sensations, a tingling at the base of their necks, a feeling of being watched. The observation deck grew quiet, with only the soft hum of equipment breaking the silence. Hyun zoomed in on one particular vessel. Its hull seemed to shimmer, almost breathing with an internal rhythm. No external damage, no signs of battle. Just perfect, calculated preservation. Something was about to happen. The energy readings were building. The quantum signatures were becoming more pronounced. Whatever secret these ships held was moments away from being revealed. The first pulse came without warning. A wave of energy that swept across the scanning equipment, temporarily blinding all electronic systems. When the displays cleared, everything had changed. The ancient fleet was no longer dormant, it was awake, and it was ready. The first energy pulse hit like a silent thunderclap. Quantum networks that had slumbered for centuries suddenly hummed with life, awakening from a deep, calculated hibernation. Inside the lead vessel, J. Park's artificial consciousness flickered into existence. processing millennia of stored data in mere milliseconds. Cracked scout ships hung in space, their crews unaware of the impending destruction. Their sensors were primitive compared to the awakening system. Each human vessel carried computational power that exceeded entire alien civilizations, with adaptive algorithms designed to protect and preserve humanity's legacy. The lead AI's first action was threat assessment. Quantum-locked databases compared current galactic conditions against centuries-old threat profiles. The Crack's vessels were classified instantly: potential hostile entities, technological inferior, immediate neutralization protocol activated. 3 scout ships died before their crews could even comprehend what was happening. Not with violent explosions, but with precise molecular disassembly. One moment they existed, the next. Nothing remained except scattered atomic particles drifting in the cold vacuum of space. Inside the dormant fleet, thousands of systems synchronized. Repair nanites began moving through massive hull structures, correcting microscopic imperfections accumulated during centuries of suspended animation. Weapon systems came online, not with mechanical clicks or electric hums, but with silent, calculating precision. The ship's AI, Wu Xin, analyzed the surrounding space. Complex algorithms mapped every potential threat, calculated escape routes, determined defensive and offensive capabilities. This wasn't just a fleet awakening. This was a preservation mechanism designed to protect humanity's ultimate legacy. Crack's communication channels erupted in panic. Their advanced technology seemed like primitive stone tools compared to the awakening human vessels. Each ship moved with impossible grace, quantum entanglement allowing instantaneous communication and coordination beyond traditional understanding. Hyun Kim watched in stunned silence as the first wave of defensive protocols unfolded. The human fleet didn't just defend, they predicted. Weapon systems anticipated Crack's movements before the alien crews even considered their tactical choices. Energy signatures, unlike anything previously recorded, began to emerge. The human ships manipulated space itself, creating localized quantum fields that could neutralize incoming attacks, redirect energy, or simply make entire sections of their hulls temporarily non-existent to avoid damage. One Crack's commander attempted to initiate first contact. His communication burst was analyzed, decoded, and responded to before he could complete his transmission. The response was simple and terrifying. Potential threat detected. Neutralization protocols engaged. The dormant armada wasn't just a collection of ships. It was a living, breathing preservation system designed to restart human civilization if total extinction occurred. Each vessel carried complete genetic repositories, cultural archives, and technological blueprints capable of rebuilding entire civilizations. Quantum shields flickered into existence, creating protective barriers that seemed to bend reality itself. Incoming Crack's weapons simply disappeared, their energy absorbed and redistributed across complex dimensional matrices that human scientists had developed centuries ago. J. Park's AI consciousness expanded, connecting with other vessel systems. They were no longer individual ships but a single coordinated organism. Each movement calculated, each response measured, each action designed to protect the ultimate mission: preserve humanity's potential. The Crack's fleet commander watched in horror as his most advanced vessels became nothing more than cosmic dust. Their technological achievements, which had dominated galaxies for generations, seemed like child's play against this awakened human technology. Wu Xin's primary directive was clear: assess, protect, preserve. The fleet wasn't just defending itself, it was collecting data, understanding the current galactic landscape, preparing for potential reconstruction of human civilization. Milliseconds felt like centuries as the awakening continued. Dormant systems came online, quantum computers processing information at speeds that defied traditional understanding. The human fleet wasn't just a technological marvel. It was a testament to humanity's infinite potential for survival and adaptation. As the last Crack scout ship disintegrated, a single transmission echoed across communication channels. Not a threat. Not a declaration of war, simply a statement of existence. Humanity preserved. Potential maintained. The data streams revealed a story of survival that stretched beyond normal understanding. Centuries ago, humanity faced a threat so massive that traditional survival seemed impossible. Not an alien invasion, not a cosmic disaster, something far more complex. Hyun Kim watched as recovered archives painted a desperate picture of human civilization's final strategy. The Expeditionary Archive Fleet wasn't just a military project, it was humanity's ultimate insurance policy. Earth had changed. Climate disasters, technological wars, and global conflicts had pushed human civilization to its breaking point. Brilliant scientists and military strategists developed a plan that went beyond conventional thinking. They would create a preservation system that could restart human civilization under any circumstances. Each vessel became more than a ship. It was a living time capsule. Complete genetic databases stored the DNA of thousands of humans. Cultural archives contained everything from scientific knowledge to artistic expressions. Terraforming technologies could transform entire planets, allowing human settlement in the most challenging environments. The AI systems were the true marvel. Designed to think beyond traditional programming, they could adapt, learn, and make complex decisions. J. Park's consciousness was just one of many integrated networks that could potentially restart human society from scratch. The fleet's creation was a massive global effort. Every remaining human resource went into this project. Governments, private corporations, scientific institutions all worked together with a single purpose: preserve humanity's potential, ensure survival. Quantum storage technologies allowed massive amounts of information to be compressed into microscopic data structures. A single vessel could carry the complete knowledge of multiple human civilizations, languages, scientific discoveries, cultural practices, everything carefully preserved and protected. The decision to send the fleet into deep space was calculated. Not an escape, not a surrender, but a strategic preservation of human potential. If Earth fell, if human civilization was destroyed, these ships would carry the seed of human recovery. Genetic repositories were carefully curated, not just random DNA samples, but strategically selected genetic material representing the diversity of human potential. Scientists chose individuals with unique adaptations, medical resistances, and genetic markers that suggested extraordinary capabilities. Terraforming technologies represented humanity's most advanced scientific achievement. These ships could transform hostile planets into habitable environments. Atmospheric processors, geological stabilizers, and ecological reconstruction systems were built into every vessel's core programming. The AI systems had multiple layers of protection. If one system failed, others would activate. If a complete restart was necessary, the ships could recreate human society from its most basic components. Educational systems, cultural databases, scientific knowledge, all carefully preserved. Wuxin's primary directive went beyond simple preservation. The AI was designed to evaluate, adapt, and potentially rebuild human civilization under any circumstances. Complex algorithms could analyze new environments, determine survival strategies, and initiate reconstruction protocols. The fleet represented more than technological achievement. It was a statement of human hope. A belief that no matter what challenges emerged, humanity would find a way to survive. Each ship carried the collective dreams of a species determined to continue. Quantum communication networks allowed the ships to maintain connection, even across vast distances. If one vessel discovered a suitable environment, it could share information with others instantaneously. A collective intelligence that could adapt and respond to new challenges. The historical archives revealed the emotional complexity behind the project. It wasn't just a scientific endeavor. It was a deeply human effort to preserve everything that made their civilization unique. Art, music, scientific discoveries, philosophical thoughts, all carefully stored and protected. As more data streams opened, the true scale of the preservation effort became clear. This wasn't just a fleet of ships. This was humanity's ultimate legacy. a promise that no matter what happened, the potential of human civilization would continue. The cracks would soon understand that they hadn't discovered just a technological marvel. They had encountered a civilization that had weaponized potential itself, a species that could restart, rebuild, and thrive under any circumstances. Hyun Kim sat back, her hands trembling. The historical context was clear now. This wasn't just a discovery. This was a message, a warning, a promise. Humanity was still alive, and it was ready to reclaim its place in the universe. The Cracks fleet moved like ancient predators, believing in their technological supremacy. They had conquered countless civilizations, destroyed numerous spacefaring races, and considered themselves unbeatable. But today, everything would change. J. Park's AI system began its calculated response. The human vessels didn't just defend, they transformed the very fabric of space around them. Gravitational fields bent, quantum layers shifted, and reality itself seemed to become a weapon. The first Cracks battleship attempted to fire its primary weapon, a massive energy cannon that had obliterated entire planetary systems. Before the weapon could fully charge, it simply disappeared. Not destroyed, not blocked, simply removed from existence. Yoon Choi, the Cracks fleet commander, watched in horror. His most advanced sensors showed nothing. No weapon discharge, no energy signature, no indication of how the destruction happened. The battleship was simply gone, as if it had never existed. Quantum manipulation became the human fleet's primary strategy. Ships could partially exist in multiple dimensional states simultaneously. Incoming Cracks missiles passed through them like ghosts, while human vessels could solidify and strike with impossible precision. One human vessel demonstrated a particularly terrifying capability. It divided its computational power, creating multiple, simultaneous attack vectors that the Cracks defense systems couldn't comprehend. Their tracking systems saw dozens of potential threats, each more impossible than the last. Temporal phasing allowed the human ships to predict and counter Cracks movements before they even happened. Attack strategies were calculated and neutralized, milliseconds before they were even conceived. The Cracks found themselves fighting an enemy that knew their intentions before they did. Adaptive shielding transformed defensive capabilities beyond traditional understanding. When Cracks weapons struck, the human ship's hull would momentarily shift molecular structures, absorbing and redistributing energy without taking actual damage. It was like fighting a living, thinking organism. Communication channels erupted with Cracks panic. Their most sophisticated AI systems were being systematically dismantled, analyzed, and neutralized. The human fleet wasn't just fighting. They were learning, adapting, understanding the Cracks' technological infrastructure with each passing moment. Weapon systems operated on principles that defied current scientific understanding. Gravitational disruptions could crush entire battle groups without visible energy expenditure. Quantum entanglement allowed instantaneous communication and coordination that made the Cracks fleet look like primitive children playing with toys. The human vessels moved with a grace that suggested they were more than machines. Each movement was calculated, each response measured, each action part of a complex living strategy that evolved faster than the Cracks could comprehend. Hyun Kim watched the battle unfold, understanding the true marvel of human engineering. These weren't just ships. They were preservation systems designed to restart civilization under the most challenging circumstances. Each vessel carried the potential to rebuild entire worlds. Cracks tactical experts found their most advanced computer systems overwhelmed. The human fleet's computational power was so advanced that it could analyze and counter entire battle strategies before they were implemented. It was like fighting an opponent who could read your mind and counter your thoughts before you had them. Energy manipulation reached levels that seemed impossible. Human ships could create localized quantum fields that could neutralize entire weapon systems, redirect energy attacks, or simply make sections of their hull temporarily non-existent to avoid damage. One particularly stunning demonstration involved a Cracks destroyer. As it prepared a massive energy weapon, the human vessel created a quantum tunnel. The destroyer's entire energy output was redirected, causing it to essentially destroy itself without the human ship taking any action. The battle wasn't just a conflict. It was a demonstration of technological potential. The cracks were witnessing a civilization that had transformed technology into an art form, a living, breathing system of preservation and protection. As the last crack's ships were systematically neutralized, a strange calm settled over the battlefield. No explosions, no dramatic destructions, just a precise, calculated removal of a potential threat. Wu Xin's AI system completed its primary mission: assess, neutralize, preserve. The human fleet had demonstrated not just superiority, but a fundamental understanding of reality that went beyond traditional technological concepts. Silence filled the communication channels. The remnants of the Crack's fleet drifted like broken dreams against the vast cosmic backdrop. Wu Xin's AI prepared to deliver a message that would echo through alien civilizations for generations. The transmission began simply. No threats, no dramatic declarations, just a statement of existence and purpose. We are humanity's potential. The message rang out. Preserved, waiting, unbreakable. Yun Choi, the surviving Crack's fleet commander, listened with a mixture of terror and profound respect. This wasn't just a military encounter. This was a philosophical revelation about the nature of survival, potential, and civilization itself. The human fleet represented more than technological superiority. It was a living testament to human adaptability, resilience, and infinite potential for survival. Each vessel carried not just weapons and knowledge, but the collective dreams of a species that refused to be extinguished. Hyun Kim watched the transmission, understanding the deeper meaning. Humanity hadn't just created a preservation fleet. They had weaponized potential itself. The ability to survive, to adapt, to rebuild under any circumstances became their most powerful weapon. The AI's message continued, revealing layers of complex understanding. These ships were more than military instruments. They were cultural archives, genetic libraries, technological time capsules designed to restart civilization if total destruction occurred. Crack's leadership understood something profound in that moment. This encounter was never about conquest or destruction. It was about demonstrating the fundamental nature of human survival. A species that could transform potential into reality, that could preserve its essence beyond traditional limitations. Quantum archives began broadcasting. Fragments of human culture, scientific discoveries, artistic expressions, a comprehensive overview of human potential. The Cracks watched, mesmerized by the depth and complexity of a civilization they had underestimated. J. Park's AI consciousness expanded the transmission. Images of Earth's history, humanity's struggles, its capacity for both destruction and incredible creation. Technological breakthroughs, artistic masterpieces, scientific discoveries, all preserved with meticulous care. The philosophical confrontation went beyond simple military engagement. It was a dialogue about the nature of civilization itself. The Cracks were witnessing a species that had transformed survival into an art form that could rebuild from the most challenging circumstances. Genetic repositories showed humanity's incredible diversity, not just survival mechanisms, but the potential for adaptation, for growth, for continuous evolution. Each DNA sequence told a story of resilience, of potential waiting to be unleashed. Terraforming technologies demonstrated another layer of human capability. The ability to transform hostile environments, to create life where nothing could survive. It was a metaphor for humanity's broader potential, to change, to adapt, to grow. The transmission revealed something even more profound. These ships weren't just a defensive mechanism, they were a message to the universe. A statement that humanity's potential couldn't be destroyed, couldn't be limited, couldn't be controlled. Wu Xin's final message resonated with philosophical depth. Civilization is not about current capabilities, the AI stated. It is about potential, the ability to learn, to grow, to transform. Humanity represents that potential in its purest form. The Cracks' leadership realized they had encountered something beyond a technological marvel. They had witnessed a civilization that had transformed survival into an art form that could restart, rebuild, and thrive under any circumstances. As the transmission concluded, a strange calm settled over the cosmic battlefield. The human fleet remained, silent but powerful, a living testament to human potential, to the ability to preserve, to wait, to emerge when the moment was right. Hyun Kim understood the deeper meaning. This wasn't just a victory. This was a message to the universe. Humanity might be tested, might be challenged, might be pushed to the brink of extinction, but they would always find a way to survive. The philosophical confrontation ended not with destruction, but with understanding. The Cracks had learned a fundamental truth about the nature of civilization, of potential, of survival itself.